You know, I want to tell you what this right here showed me today. Your video title, liking who you are does not diminish who anybody else is. Very, you just keep doing these because they are very eye-opening. Your words finally match who you really are. You attack other creators because deep down inside, or no, you tell everybody, not deep down inside, it's very shallow. You really believe that because you're here and you're on YouTube, you are equal as far as an entertainer as they are, and that you are entitled to the same support they have, the money they receive, and that's what makes you so angry with them, is because you truly think that you are as good as they are. Their talent is their talent, and it's something you don't have. It's amazing to me. I've never seen this in you before, really, that you truly have been convinced that you are the cat's meow, which, brings to light to me that your victimhood, every time you talk, Mary, it just tears it apart every time. Because if you had truly been belittled and just tore apart as a child, I could probably, I'm not a professional, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say, people that I've met in my life, I can't, none of them are as conceited and as brazen as you are. I mean, you are on here telling people that you're beautiful and you're just as good of a singer as everyone else and the millions out there, and that everything you do is just as good. And so therefore you would think that you deserve just the same benefits as them. No, Mary, it's not that way. And it's sad that you feel that way. And I partly blame my mom for that. And I blame the rest of us too for not coming forward, or, I would never browbeat you or tell you, that you're ugly. I would never have hurt you as a child like that. But at the same time, I would have never allowed you to think that you were all this. You truly think you are equal with everybody in the world. Well, Mary, equality is I really can't, I don't want to mess it up and talk wrong, but no, your talents, which I'm looking for, you might think you have, are not equal to most of the creators online. You're just not there. You're not an original Al. You're not Adonis Paul. You're not JJ. You're not Daywave. You don't have the talents that they have. Now, I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm sure you got to have one somewhere deep down inside. There's something for you in this world. But you're not there, and you're never going to be there. I don't care how many times you stand in the mirror and say, I'm great, I'm great. Tomorrow morning, you're still not going to be great. You're still not going to be equal with them. You're still not going to make what they make. It's just not going to happen because you don't have it. It's sad that you think just because you say so, it is so. No, it's not that way. You got to use some common sense, and you got to hone in on being, and being embarrassed every once in a while is a good thing, Mary, because it shows you, you shouldn't have done something, or you're in the wrong place, or you thought you were better. If I got on here and started singing, and I know I can't sing. I know I can't. There's no delusion on my part about that. And then the next day I hear other people talking about it and not critiquing it very well, I would be embarrassed. That feeling when your cheeks are red and you think, oh, Lord, I should have sat down and listened better, or I should have asked people who, don't want to just tell me that everything's perfect in me every day of my life. I would have asked impartial people. You need to find it. I'm trying to think of a time in your life when you were embarrassed or ashamed of something. I'm struggling. I'm trying to think of a time where you've actually admitted to doing something wrong or saying something wrong. And I'm thinking all this fits together with you. You will never say, you really truly believe you've never done nothing wrong. You've never had a lapse of judgment. You've never hurt other people. You've never done every single thing that you have said that everybody else has done. You have done them. It's not just saying it. You have actually done them. That's incredible. You should be embarrassed that you have the attention that you do have because it's not positive. Not at all. And it's shameful that you're on here doing this. It would be shameful for me to think that I could be, that I have any, I'm nothing, I'm not compared to any of them. I shouldn't be here and I know it. But that's the problem with you. You don't know it. You really think you are among the great, and you think, and then you must think that everything you do on here, living in a filthy apartment, never working for nothing. Lord, I mean, you had to have help. The therapist had to get you and tell you, meet me here. You didn't go looking for no apartment, Mary. They went looking, and they called you, and they said, I have an apartment for you to look at. That's not you doing it. That's not you doing it. They did it, and you should praise them for it and thank them for it. And for you, you should be sitting down thinking, what can I do to change that about myself? What can I do to do something for myself instead of taking the credit for things that I didn't do? You know, I don't know when in your life, you know, I'm trying to think about that. When did you, I truly think you really were young when you realized that the crying and the old pitiful, oh, they're being mean to me, worked out so beautifully for you. And for some reason, it just stayed in you. And you just still think everybody's just being mean, and you don't understand why. You don't know why YouTube isn't empty except for you. I don't know how you think that's going to benefit you. But you just want to make it back go away, and you do your best to do so. And you sit on here and lie, and you have no talent. You cannot sing. If what you're doing is acting, you can't act. It's pathetic. I mean, people who act, I'm sure they have to have more faces than the cry face. They have to know how to change up a little bit. And I'm going to tell you something. The most beautiful people I have ever seen are those that don't even know they're pretty. They're those that don't realize how pretty they are. And I'm going to tell you which one comes to mind. I thought about this a while ago, and one of them came to mind. Sailor V. When I first seen her, you know, she didn't show herself or anything. And she was scared to. And then when she did, I was stunned at how pretty she really was. And I thought, she's the type that don't even realize how pretty she is. She doesn't see her beauty. Whereas you see nothing but beauty in yourself. You're not getting, I know you're not going to get this. You should be embarrassed. And she should look and say, well, you know, I am pretty. I am pretty. But no, we all shouldn't be standing there and telling people. The fact that you're on here telling people you're beautiful and that you're smart and that you're this and you're that just clearly shows that you're not all that. And that you weren't a berated little girl who was cowered down. No, I've known quite a few in my life, quite personally. There's a big difference there. And I could read you some things that would show it. You're not that person. And why you thought that by taking stories that were not yours and alter them, all you've done was put shame and blocking people that, you know, you've made it where if anyone that them stories belong to, and I'm talking personal here, you've made it where they would never come forward and never get the help they need and never be able to move on past the pain and the grief or whatever it's, they just won't be able to, because they have to hold, they can't hold their head up, because you have took something that should have never happened and you have just made it a nasty, trashy, awful thing because it didn't happen to, you're not an abuse victim. Now, I think there's some things that I'm not even going to go into right now, but I think, there might be some partial truth to you. And by God, you should have, and what, I don't know why you can't say today the truth of the matter. The truth was you were scared to say something, and that's understandable. Believe me, I know this for a fact. But somehow in your mind, you've just decided, instead of accepting any, and it's not even asking you to accept responsibility for not. It's saying, you, instead of coming on here and being honest and truthful, and sharing a story that really did happen and not all the other ones that didn't, you just made yourself look horrible. And you should be humiliated and embarrassed. And you don't even think about fixing it. You don't think about humbling yourself to accept that you've been called out and you've been busted. And it's sad, because most all of everybody, if they looked at you seriously, they would see that one thing. But no, you want to take and twist everything, even the tragedy, you want to twist it. You're wrong, Mary. You need to be embarrassed. You need to be off of this network, and you need to be working on yourself. But you know what? It's not going to do you no good till you realize that you have faults. Until you realize you're not as equal and as talented as some others. You may have some things, like your crocheting. You do that. You do that well. I mean, I'm impressed with how you do that. And you're probably just as good as millions of people. But there's the rest of the things that you think you're so great at, you're not. And it's embarrassing for you to get on here and do that. It should be embarrassing and humiliating to you that you're on here telling people how you are.